Welcome back to the Series 7 podcast, Episode 3. And today we're going to be talking about warrants, rights, and ADRs. And ADRs are simply American depository receipts. First, let's talk about rights. Rights are created through the Articles of Incorporation, and they're often called preemptive rights. So when a company wants to issue more shares, it has to give the preemptive right to the existing stockholders to buy those shares before they're offered to other potential buyers. They're usually short-term in duration, 30 to 60 days. And rights can be separated and sold separately from the common stock. And when a right is issued, usually the rights holder have a right to purchase the stock at less than it is offered to the market at. And the reason they do this is because companies argue, and we talked about this in a previous episode, that they're saving the underwriting costs. They're selling that stock directly to the buyer. They don't need to pay an underwriting commission to do that. When rights are issued, for the time they're in existence, they will trade on the stock exchange where the common stock trades at. So you can separate the rights from the stock. If you own a stock, the company issues new stock, and you have preemptive rights, you will be issued rights. Really, it comes into your account. Unless you actually hold the stock certificate in your own name, the rights will be issued into your account at the brokerage firm, and it'll show on your portfolio as a right that you can sell, and they'll trade separately. Warrants, on the other hand, are created as a sweetener, usually. If a company's issuing a preferred stock or a new bond or even a common stock, sometimes they will say we are issuing a certain number of units, and the unit could be one share of common with a warrant to buy another share of common at a price that's higher than the current price of the common is at. So this is a long-term option to buy the stock at a higher price. Usually, it doesn't really cost the company anything to give away a warrant. What it does do is it creates a value, a perceived value to the warrant holder, because it's a long-term option to buy the stock at a certain price. So as a sweetener, in the case of a common stock, it's usually buy one share or two shares of stock, and you'll get one warrant to buy the stock at a higher price for, let's say, 5 years. In the case of the bond, it's the same sort of thing. And in the case of a bond, why a company would issue a warrant would be because it allows the company to possibly issue the bond at a lower interest rate than it would be required without the sweetener of the warrant attached to it. So they're usually sold as units, a bond and X number of warrants, or a stock and X number of warrants. And they're not often, you don't see a lot of these out there, but there are some in existence. And when a warrant is issued, it will trade on its own on the stock exchange. Give you an example. Let's say a company issued a warrant or a unit to purchase one share of widget stock at $30 a share. And along with that, you get a warrant exercisable after a 1-year period, so you have to 1 year before you can exercise the warrant. But you would have the option to buy the stock at a higher price, let's say $35 per share. And warrants usually expire. In this case, the warrant would expire 5 years from the issue date.